angle it like in, and he's like, I can't angle it in. He's angle it in. He's like, no, turn around.
Drinking barefoot's forward.
During the Nordic summer, whenever the sun appears in the sky, the people of this city come out en masse, like sunflowers. Here is the waterfront of Copenhagen looking around. The sun-drenched wooden deck is already full of people. Nobody cares about sun protection. Everyone is eager to expose every inch of their skin to the ultraviolet rays. Some people are wearing brightly colored bikinis, while others simply lie directly on the bare wooden planks. Next to it is a modern building, but no one stays indoors. The wide green lawn is also covered with citizens lying down, and the row of European classical buildings in the distance serves as a perfect backdrop. On the outdoor wooden steps, you can see young people sitting in twos and threes chatting. The large letter sign on the wall reminds visitors that this is a famous leisure destination. Beside the gangway at the dock, someone has just climbed up from the cool water, followed immediately by another person eagerly diving in. Water splashed high, accompanied by bursts of laughter and frolic. Along the wooden walkway, young people sat basking in the sun. The wall on the left is covered with casual graffiti, exuding a strong street vibe. The deck area near the kiosk was packed, with everyone holding drinks and chatting about everyday matters. A few young people over there were warming up on a wooden diving platform when one of them suddenly stretched out his arms and plunged into the canal in a less than perfect form. The sound of a heavy object plunging into the water drew a burst of cheers from the surrounding crowd. A white speedboat is quietly moored by the dock. A few young people on board seem to be chatting animatedly, and the engine emits a low idling sound. Turning our gaze back to this bustling area of canvas deck chairs, hundreds of people are packed together like sardines, thoroughly enjoying this rare sunbathing. By the canal, people in small groups sat on the rocks along the bank, with a modern-style pedestrian bridge behind them. Looking along the riverbank, this busy yet orderly urban leisure life is truly eye-opening. Even in the water, Scandinavians stay busy. Look over there at the floating goal. A few people are paddling kayaks and fiercely playing ball in the water. The sound of paddles slapping the water mixed with short shouts is how they release their energy in summer. Under the shade of the trees by the shore, quite a few people were sitting, with dappled light and shadow falling on them. A group of formally dressed young people sat around a long table by the river, the table laden with beer and drinks, seemingly having some kind of gathering, their hearty laughter audible even from a distance. At the intersection of the cobblestone road and the wooden embankment, pedestrians and cyclists pass by from time to time. At an outdoor dining table nearby, people were drinking and chatting, and the huge geometric structure next to them was particularly eye-catching. Looking from the center of the water toward the shore, the feeling is even more spectacular. Beneath a massive modern apartment building, dense crowds of people fill every inch. Strolling along the wooden boardwalk of Copenhagen harbor, people sit on both sides basking in the sun, and the lively atmosphere carries a sense of relaxation. The road is wide and bustling with pedestrians. Passing by a stall called Street Coffee, more people gathered here, and excited shouts could also be heard from the water surface. A parent was strolling leisurely ahead, pushing a stroller. The river channel on the right was very wide, and the historical buildings on the opposite bank were vividly colorful. Walking onto a section of the walkway under a bridge structure, it is slightly cooler in the shade here, with a modern glass office building immediately to the left. Stepping out of the shadows, the view suddenly opened up, and a spacious open square appeared before us. The distant bridge and the ancient bell tower looked like a postcard scene under the blue sky and white clouds. A guy in a green top ran along the boardwalk, while the people lounging on the steps around didn't even lift their heads. Moving further ahead, we approached a crowded seaside swimming area. The atmosphere here is noticeably more lively. The swimming area by the water is cordoned off by protective nets, with many people in swimsuits splashing about in the water, and the shore is covered with people lying down. The children were screaming and having a water fight in the water. Weaving through the crowd everywhere were lively summer scenes of laughter and chatter. On the wooden dock, someone jumps into the water, creating a huge splash. Two young women in swimsuits, fresh from swimming, walked past wrapped in towels. Several heads float on the water, while the ancient city buildings in the background have witnessed countless summers like this. On the wooden platform, some tourists are chatting, while others are intently sunbathing. A man in a black jacket and jeans walks up the wooden steps, his outfit looking a bit out of place among the surrounding swimsuits. Standing on a high platform and looking down, the river scenery is fully visible. The traffic flows endlessly on the Crossy Bridge in the distance. In the swimming area below, people are packed like sardines. Following the curved corridor bridge further ahead, a man in a white hoodie leans against the railing, lost in thought. Walking down the ramp to the wooden corridor, several tourists dragging suitcases came towards me, and the sound of wheels rolling on the wooden planks was crisp and clear. The crowd on the dock wears cool summer clothes, and light and shadow interweave on the road. Cyclists and pedestrians do not interfere with each other, and everyone is moving towards the cluster of buildings deep in the street. This is a sunny seaside promenade, with the ground covered in cobblestones. A woman in a yellow top breezed past on her bike. On the walking path, there are people in groups of 3 or 5 sitting on the cobblestone ground, chatting sporadically. Traces of old railway tracks remain on the ground, and a red lifebuoy stand appears ahead. There's even an old train carriage covered in graffiti by the roadside, adding a touch of rugged industrial style to this modern port. Bypassing the carriage, the view became expansive once more. The reflections of the European-style buildings on the opposite bank shimmer on the water's surface. 2 casually dressed young men walked past each other, with several bicycles parked nearby. A rusty industrial hoisting structure still stands in the middle of the promenade, once a testament to the bustling port operations, now a support for people to lean on while resting. A lush green tree grows by the shore, and someone is walking their dog on the wooden platform. The modern theater building in the distance glistens in the sunlight. Around the bend, an outdoor dining area came into view, filled with open parasols and outdoor seating everywhere. This wooden dock, in particular, was crowded with a large number of people ready to jump into the water. The wooden platforms in Copenhagen are cleverly designed to break waves while serving as natural sun loungers. A man in a gray short, sleeved shirt stands at the edge, turning his head to give instructions to his friend behind him. Look out over the water. There are a few kayaking areas cordoned off over there. A woman in a beige jumpsuit stands on the shore, watching the activities on the water with great interest. The canoe polo match on the water is in full swing. The athletes paddle furiously, fiercely competing for the ball. In the background, a yellow public ferry slowly glides by. On the cobblestone walkway, 2 dogs are chasing each other playfully, one gray and one brown, and tourists resting by the roadside watch them with amusement. A blue and white ice cream truck was parked nearby, a hot commodity on such a scorching day. A vast open lawn lies ahead, with hundreds of people scattered across the grass having picnics, as if it were an open-air party. The edge of the lawn connects directly to the riverbank, with sparkling ripples on the water surface. Three young guys with backpacks walk toward the entrance of the beach, their steps looking heavy, probably tired and eager to cool off in the water. On the distant diving platform, several people are lining up, ready to jump. This is a massive wooden step diving platform. A few young people in swimsuits stand at the highest point. One of the boys leaps into the air, tracing an arc before plunging steadily into the water. On the middle platform of the diving board, a group of young people held hands and jumped into the water together, like dumping dumplings, creating a very joyful scene. Outside the barbed wire fence by the shore, passers-by stop to watch. A man in a white hoodie walks by while talking on the phone.
Do it, guys.
Continue turning right, and you'll find an open red paved square. Several women are pushing strollers or holding children's hands, walking in the sunshine. On the other side of the square, a group of teenagers are playing basketball on an open ground, and the thumping sound of the basketball hitting the ground is full of energy. Walking along the street by the harbor, an old-fashioned white boat is docked on the left, and a modern red brick apartment building stands on the right. Black picnic tables and chairs line both sides of the street, with many tourists sitting here to rest. A man with long hair and a beard is walking towards us in a beige t-shirt. Occasionally, a small motorboat passes through the waterway. A woman in a black dress runs briskly along the shore. On the wooden steps, many people are drinking and chatting, and the clinking of glasses sounds crisp and pleasant. Looking down from above, a small white speedboat is docked by the shore, with several young people aboard discussing something enthusiastically. Gazing at the opera house across the shore, the stunning harbor view stretches as far as the eye can see. On the right is an old warehouse building with a red roof, and a black wooden sailboat is docked at the shore. The scene looks like it came straight out of an oil painting. Walking past an open-air restaurant called Boathouse, parasols were shading diners all enjoying their meals. The black office residential complex next door, with its exterior walls and large glass windows, looks particularly sleek. On the wooden resting platform, people sit in twos and threes, with the background of a huge old-fashioned yellow warehouse. The roadside sign reminds that this is private property. An old man came riding a tricycle leisurely. Here is the outdoor terrace of Bar Restaurant, where people are dining while watching sailboats on the water. A giant, spherical geometric structure appeared ahead. Circling around it, there is an open-air food court. Under the sunshade sat crowds of people eating and chatting, with the aroma of various foods and lively pop music drifting in the air. Step onto the bridge, and on the open water, several yachts and pleasure boats are crisscrossing. The wooden platform on the opposite bank is still packed with people sunbathing. Overlooking the canal, ancient red brick buildings stand in the distance, their walls adorned with colorful graffiti. The various small boats on the water make the river channel very lively. A black sightseeing boat slowly sailed under the bridge. On the water, there is even a guy leisurely paddling a stand-up paddleboard. On the overpass, tourists come and go in an endless stream, and a pair of young women are taking a selfie with their phones. A man and a woman suddenly run into the frame, quickly crossing the bridge. Several joggers and cyclists proceed along the road, beside highly designed modern terraced houses. A man on a cargo tricycle rides toward the plaza between the building complex. A woman wearing a white shirt and a white hat walks toward the camera, holding a cloth bag in her hand. The sunlight casts long shadows on the clean flagstone path. A man and woman holding hands walk away from the camera in a pedestrian area. Following the cyclist's direction, I arrived at the wooden terrace by the river. A black signboard stands at the entrance. At this moment, the light has become very soft, and the setting sun is about to go down the mountain. On the crowded wooden platform next to a silver food truck, there is even a DJ spinning records on an open-air stage. Energetic house music mixed with the cheerful laughter of the crowd. Passing through the area crowded with bicycles, people enjoy the evening breeze in the open air. Beside the huge blackbird sculpture by the water, several women were gathered together chatting. Sweeping across the entire harbor, the golden sunset casts a shimmering reflection on the water. The golden sunlight of the evening shone on the layered wooden steps, crowded with dense people. A woman in a leopard print top and denim skirt walks over holding a drink, followed by a guy in a green short-sleeved shirt passing through. In front of an old red brick building with graffiti, everyone is lazily lying on chairs. The afterglow of the sunset spills on the river, producing a strong glare. This summer evening in Copenhagen slowly passed by with light music and people's casual chats.